So we will we was studying about the naturally occurring natural emulsifying agent from the vegetable source, right? So we was discuss the natural emulsifying agent from the vegetable source. So in our previous slide we will cover the acacia, right? Means we will see the acacia, tragacanth, agar, pectin, starch and erismosa, right? So we already discussed the acacia and tragacanth, acacia and tragacanth. So once again I have to say that whenever we are going to add a natural kind of emulsifying agent, that time we will add a preservative, right? Because naturally occurring emulsifying agent contain some carbohydrate kind of agent or material. That's why it is very prone to bacterial growth, right? That's why we need to preserve it by using preservatives, right? So afterward, our third example from the emulsifying natural emulsifying agent from vegetable sources, like so pectin is another example. So it's 1% mucilage in water used as a emulsifying agent, right? Means what happened, that is we can't use the pectin as it is, right? Because pectin available in a solid or powder form, right? And we can't use pectin as it is in a powder form as an emulsifying agent, right? Because whenever we are going to use the emulsifying agent as a pectin, that time we have to make a 1% of mucilaginous solution in by using the water. Means whenever we are going to use the pectin, before adding it we need to prepare a 1% solution of pectin, right, in a water. 1% means we have to take a 100 ml water and we have to add a 1 gram pectin into that 100 ml water. After proper dissolving, we will get a 1% mucilaginous solution of pectin, right? So 1% mucilaginous solution of pectin or 1% solution of pectin, we are used as a emulsifying agent, right? Then pectin is incompatible with alkalis, strong alcohol, tannic acid and salicylic acid. What that is, pectin is a incompatible means if our preparation contain a alkalis kind of substance means any alkalis means sodium, potassium, sorry, not sodium, potassium, sodium, potassium, right? If our preparation contain a sodium, potassium, magnesium kind of substance, that time pectin are incompatible because it may chances of react with that alkalis and make another toxic preparation or undesirable preparation, right? Hence pectin are incompatible with alkalis. Some strong alcohol like methanol, right, ethanol, along with the tannic acid, right, tannic acid along with the tannic acid, our pectin are incompatible. And then salicylic acid means whenever we are going to prepare a emulsion containing active drug salicylic acid, that time we should avoid the use of pectin as an emulsifying agent, right? Because pectin are not compatible with salicylic acid, right? So this is small information about our pectin, that is a kind of natural emulsifying agent and obtained from the our vegetable source. Also whenever we are going to add a pectin, that time we also need a addition of preservative because pectin contains some carbohydrate material and carbohydrate is prone to microbial growth, right? So it's remember, right? I think you should remember this thing, okay? Then afterward, our fourth one is agar. Our fourth one example from the natural emulsifying agent from vegetable sources. Pectin obtained from vegetable source, also agar also obtained from the vegetable source, right? Then agar, it is not a good kind of emulsifying agent itself, because it form a very coarse and viscous emulsion, right? Means we can't say, or we can't use agar as a good kind of emulsifying agent, right? Good kind of emulsifying agent means we can rarely use it as like our gum acacia. Gum acacia is a commonly and best kind of emulsifying agent, right? But agar is a not a good kind of emulsifying agent, right? Because if we will use it as a emulsifying agent, there is a chances of formation of very coarse and viscous kind of emulsion, right? Means if we add a agar as emulsifying agent, that time there is a chances of increasing the our globule size. Due to increasing the globule size, we will get a coarse kind of emulsion, right? Along with our viscosity become increases, and due to there is a not properly distribution of our globules or dispersed phase into a continuous phase. That's why there is a chances of obtaining undesirable or unstable kind of emulsion, right? So be careful when you are going to add a agar as an emulsifying agent, right? Because if we are alonely use it, it may form a very coarse and viscous kind of emulsion, right? So but it's 20% mucilage by dissolving in boiling water and cooled at 45 degree centigrade as the emulsifying agent, right? Means there is a one also given also there is a given also another question or some suggestion for agar, because we can't add a agar as it is, because it is as like our pectin, it is also available in powder form. That time we can not use as it is in a powder form as a emulsifying agent. That's why before using as a emulsifying agent, we have to prepare a 2% solution of agar. 2% solution of agar means it is a one suggestion or a one official statement that whenever we are use the agar as an emulsifying agent, that time we should take a 2% of solution of agar, right? 2% solution of agar. Then there is a one question arising, that is how will we make a 2% emulsifying agent, 2% agar solution, right? Means as same our previous example, that is 1%. 2% we will make by taking a 100 ml boiled water, and into that we have to add a 2% agar powder or agar mucilage, and after dissolving it should be dissolved properly, right? In a boiling water, there is a use of boiling water, right? And afterward, after proper dissolving, we should have to cool it. We have to cool it at keeping a 45 degrees centigrade. Keeping a 45 degrees centigrade, not should not keep into a freezer or in a very less temperature. There is a specific temperature for the cooling of that particular 2% solution, that is a 45 degrees centigrade. And after getting that, we should use it as a, or we have to use it as a emulsifying agent, right? Means 2% solution of agar, it is suitable for using as an emulsifying agent, right? That's why 2% is a statement or recommendation, right? So I think you are understand pectin. Whenever going to you add a pectin, that time we have to, before addition, we have to make a 1% mucilaginous solution in a water in a simple water. But we are use whenever we are going to use the agar, that time we have to prepare a 2% solution of agar by dissolving in boiling water, and should be cooled at a temperature 45 degrees, right? So you should remember these small things, right? It is very important, and you need to have a thorough knowledge of this kind of emulsifying agent. If you have proper knowledge about selection and properties of all kind of emulsifying agent, that time you should be able to prepare a good and stable kind of emulsion, right? And it is a very important task to properly select the kind of emulsifying agent, right? Then after our agar, then pectin, tragacanth, and gum acacia, we have to forward to, or we are going to start the starch kind of, or discuss the starch kind of emulsifying agent, right? I think you are familiar with starch, right? You are familiar with the starch, right? I think you had already listened the starch word, right? That is starch. Actually we are also perform the starch test, right? Carbohydrate test in our first year biopharmaceutics practical, biopharmaceutical chemistry practical, right? In our biopharmaceutical chemistry practical, we are already identify the presence of starch in a carbohydrate sample, right? I think you are familiar with that, right? And you also I said in our practical session, that is main source of starch, that is a potato. We can obtain the starch from the potato, right? So let's see how the our starch act as a emulsifying agent, right? So let's see, it is a rarely used because it form a very coarse kind of emulsion, right? Means as like our pectin, agar, then tragacanth, right? Starch also rarely used, right? Not a commonly used, it's also frequently or rarely used in case of requirement, right? In case of requirement, that time we should use it, because starch also one demerit, that is it may able to form a very coarse kind of emulsion, right? Means it does not form a viscous emulsion, right? It does not form a viscous emulsion like agar and pectin, sorry, agar and tragacanth. It's only form a coarse emulsion, right? It's increase the globule size of our emulsion, right? It increase the globule size of our emulsion, that is a coarse, very coarse kind of emulsion, right? Then hence it is rarely used, right? Then generally used to prepare a enema kind of emulsion, means that is a for the specification. I also said that is for a specific condition the starch will used, right? Or starch have to use, right? That is for the preparation of enema kind of emulsion, right? Enema, I think you are familiar with this enema word, that is one kind of dosage form by which our fecal matter are remove out the waste material or fecal matter through the our body. Means it help to evacuate the our waste material from the oval, right? Whatever the waste material and fecal matter are present in our oval, that is a part of intestine, right, are removed out with the help of enema, right? So whenever we are going to prepare a enema kind of emulsion, that time we should use the starch as a emulsifying agent, right? Because and that is the specific recommendation for preparation of enema kind of emulsion. We should use the starch only, right? And except other than, we should not use, only starch we should use, right? For the enema kind of emulsion as a emulsifying agent. Starch act as a emulsifying agent, right? And for the preparation of enema kind of emulsifying agent, we should use the starch, right? Because it's able to prepare a good kind of enema emulsion, right? Because it increases the only